Hello and welcome you all student. Hope you all are fit and fine. So as we are discussing in our lecture large scale industry and in our previous lecture in part first we have discussed about iron and steel industry and textile industry. Now in this part of my lecture I will discuss what is the problem of sugar industry, and in the next part and the coming part we will discuss about the cotton industry. So this is the lecture on problem and prospects of sugar industry presented by Alka Srivastava. Production of sugar from sugarcane is a seasonal operation depending on the availability of sugarcane, which lasts from October to May. Sugar can also be produced from beet, the production activity being limited to about 100 days in a year. As a result of its seasonal nature, sugar industry present peculiar problem for pollution control. So, sugar industry of India. India is the accredited birthplace of sugarcane. India is an important exporter of sugar up to the later part of 19th century. But from the beginning of 20th century, the Indian sugar industry begins to decline because of the competition of Java's sugar industry. India now began to import large quantity of sugar. The industry, however, received great impetus after the grant of protection in 1931. Since then, the industry is making continuous progress. Thus, from the 29 factories in 1931, the number of factories rose to 138 in 1950 and to 396 in 1990. So, in India, sugar industry had its origin in 1903 when a sugar factory was established each in Bihar and UP. In 1950-51, there were 138 sugar factories in India. And in order to meet its growing demand of sugar, more and more sugar factories were established. On 31st May 1988, there was 414 sugar factories in India. So, out of this, 386 factories were in operation. So, as we know students, that sugar industries employ 3.25 lakhs workers besides generating indirect employment for 25 million sugarcane growers. And till 1960, Bihar and UP were the two largest producers of the sugar, producing about 60% of the sugar. But with the expansion of industry in other states like Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the share of production of Bihar and UP had declined to 38%. To 28% in 1980-81, and the share of Maharashtra rose from 34% to 40% in 1980-81. The Development Fund in 1982, which was funded by transfer of proceedings of sugar cess imposed on sugar production in the country. The idea was to advance soft loan to the sugar producing unit for the rehabilitation and modernization and for production of sugarcane in and around the sugar factory area. Total amount of fund allocated is rupees 900 crores, and out of which the fund advance loan to the extent of 490 crores for the said purpose. So, there is some importance of location of sugar factory near the sugar field. Sugar mills have located near the sugar field because sugarcane started losing its sugar content as soon as it is harvested. It needs to be crushed immediately. Sugar cane is bulky and heavy, therefore, its transportation cost is high. So, student, as we know that we should also know what is the reason that made the people, especially the establisher of sugar industry, to migrate from northern states to the southern and western state. And did you know the reason behind it? And the reason is high sucrose content. The sucrose content in sugarcane is in very high range, it's very difficult to transport this. Transportation of this will take should say the very shorter time. Sucrose content in sugarcane is at very evaporate at very short period. So the problem is when the sugarcane is have to high sucrose content, it has to be transported very soon to the nearest mill where the sugar mill has to be established, and the factory has to be there in order to do the processing done. If the sucrose content will be reduced, we will not be able to get or achieve the target. So when there is high sucrose content and if there is a transportation delay, that will automatically result in the loss of sucrose content. This is the main reason why we need to have high sucrose content. So sugar industry is one of the leading industries of India. This industry is entirely based on the availability of the sugarcane. That is why the sugar factories are situated only in the cane growing areas. So harvesting of sugarcane can be done with manually or mechanically. So what are the problems faced by sugar industry? First is the low yield of sugar. So as you know that although India had the largest area under sugarcane cultivation, the yield per hectare is extremely low as compared to one of the major sugarcane producing countries of the world. For example, India yields is only 64.5 tons per hectare as compared to 19 tons per hectare in Java and 121 hectares in Hawaii. This leads to low overall production and result in short supply of sugarcane to sugar mills. So next is short crushing season. Manufacturing of sugar is a seasonal phenomena, with a short crushing season varying normally from 4 to 7 months in the year. And the mills of its worker remain idle during the remaining period of the year, thus creating financial problem for the industry as a whole. So another problem which the sugar industry faces is fluctuating in production trend. Sugarcane has to compete with several other foods and cash crops like cotton, oilseeds, rice, etc. Consequently, the land available to sugarcane cultivation is not the same and the total production of sugarcane fluctuates. This affects the supply of sugarcane to the mill, and the production of sugar also varies from year to year. So another reason which affect the sugar industry is high cost of production. High cost of sugarcane, inefficient technology and uneconomic process of production and heavy excise duty result in high cost of manufacturing. The production cost of sugar in India is one of the highest in the world. Instance, research is required to increase the sugarcane production in the agricultural field and to introduce new technology of production efficiency in the sugar mills. So there is one more way to reduce the production cost is through proper utilization of byproducts of this industry. And the next point is old and obsolete machinery. One of the most important drawback of sugar industry is that most of the machinery used in Indian sugar mills, particularly those of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, is old and obsolete, being 50 to 60 years old and need rehabilitation. But low margin of profit prevents sugar mill owner from replacing the old machinery by the new one. And another important reason for the backwardness of sugar industry is regional imbalances in distribution. One half of the sugar mill are located in Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, and about 60% of the production carries from these two states. On the other hand, there are several states in the north and east, east and Jammu and Kashmir and Orissa, where there is no appreciable growth of this industry. This leads to regional imbalances which have their own implications. So, our last point is low per capita consumption. The per capita annual consumption of sugar in India is only 16.3 kg as against 48.8 kg in the USA. The result is low market demand and create a problem of sale of sugar. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, and we will meet again in the next session and in the third part in which we will discuss about cotton industry. Thank you and goodbye.